Cold open hook, 38 words. Rain hammered the steel scaffolding as Riley Archer crouched at the obstacle course start line, pulse thrumming in her ears while the base commander lifted a stopwatch. 30 spectators muttered predictions, none placed faith on the slender woman tightening her laces. The first drops found the back of her neck, cold as the memory of yesterday's second failure. And for an instant, she wondered whether humiliation came pre-written into the skies or carved by human tongues. She inhaled, tasting damp iron shavings and engine exhaust, the flavor of every dawn on Echo Bluff training compound. Behind her, Sergeant Webb's basso laugh rumbled. "Try not to snap an ankle, Archer. Command has paperwork waiting." The comment, dressed as banter, carried an undercurrent of finality. Fail again. An administrative reassignment would bury her dreams deeper than the mud trenches ahead. Yet Riley offered no retort. Words spent themselves cheaply here. Currency was heartbeats per minute, meters per second, and kilograms swung with precision. She flicked her gaze toward the digital board where the late Staff Sergeant Culver's base record 5 minutes. 27 seconds glowed crimson. Beating it required shaving 12 seconds off a legend's best day. Drop a, if you've ever been underestimated, she imagined telling an unseen crowd beyond the chain link. The notion gave her spine a surprising steel. Sharing the ache was a form of defiance. Sunrise, 3 hours earlier, had painted Barracks Row in diluted gold. Riley's roommate, Corporal Jojo Johansson, still snored under a threadbare blanket. The compound's reveille blared. Boots thudded outside like artillery on fast forward. Riley swung off her bunk in seamless silence, stretching cords in her lean arms. She was slender, yes, years of ballet classes before a family bankruptcy shifted her world to functional athletics, left her muscles long rather than bulky. But slender didn't mean brittle. Slender meant coiled. She found her journal on the desk, a battered field notebook with coffee stains, and a single quote from her father scribbled inside the cover: "Measure wind, lead by breath, and let intention be your trigger." He'd been Echo Bluff's preeminent sniper instructor until bone cancer silenced his lectures. Riley touched the ink as though it could still warm her fingertips. Last night's entry sat unfinished. Asterisk second PT failure. Upper body circuit disaster. Grip gave out on pegboard. 2 flights short on rope climb. Webb's smirk memorized it for fuel. Asterisk below that she'd drafted a plan of attack. Adjusted hand spacing. Chalk at checkpoints. Tempo shifts at 30-second intervals. Calculations littered the margin's small variables, leading to recovered seconds. She closed the notebook and began taping her wrists. The compound's fluorescent lights hummed. Each wrap overlapped with ritual precision, 8 loops per side. Same as her mother had taught her when splinting neighbors after tornadoes in Cherokee County. "Compression carries confidence," the elite medic had said, handing little Riley a roll of gauze just after her 9th birthday. Mentorship shaped more than skill. They shaped muscle memory. Down the corridor, chatter thickened as teams prepared for the quarterly assessment gauntlet. The gauntlet was Echo Bluff's crucible, a 10-station physical and technical test culminating in the obstacle course. Fail any 2 categories, you repeated the entire cycle. Fail thrice, immediate discharge. Riley had already used 2 of her 3 strikes: cardio endurance and upper body power, both under Sergeant Webb's hawkish supervision. The obstacle course remained her final chance to stay enlisted in the Rapid Response Program. She stepped into the communal lavatory. Fog hugged cracked mirrors. Fluorescent panels buzzed overhead. A row of male privates fell silent at her reflection. A ponytail tucked under a gray PT cap. Cheekbones sharp against soft green eyes, posture enviably composed. Their quiet surprised her less than their earlier jokes, which had framed her as the ballerina with a death wish. She nodded once acknowledgement without acquiescence and brushed past Dot at 0530 hours. She entered the equipment shed. Rows of kettlebells, Climbing ropes and hydration vests lined steel racks. Riley moved methodically, inspecting carabiners for hairline fractures, smoothing frayed rope fibers with a lighter until nylon fused, calibrating the infrared body temp sensor inside her watch. Everyday competence was her creed, the invisible thread that sewed confidence into moments of crisis. She donned ankle weights, 500 grams each, a secret sanction she used during warm-ups to trick her muscles into surplus power when removed. Beside her, Private First Class Torres slung a 20-kilogram sandbag onto his shoulders with theatrical grunt. "Still chasing your fairy tale, Archer?" he teased. "More like hunting a purpose," she replied, voice calm as distilled water. It was the truth. The gauntlet meant not simply staying enrolled, but qualifying for the Wildfire Rapid Response Team, where she could apply her father's marksmanship lessons and her mother's emergency triage science to real disasters. "Sergeant." Webb entered. His eyes, slate gray and unblinking, scanned the room. "Listen up. Weather just threw us a curveball. Thunderstorms rolling in, so we're moving the course attempt to 0800 instead of 0900. That's 45 minutes from now. Pair up for buddy checks. Failure rates spike when you rush looking right at you, Archer." She met his stare without blinking. She'd sworn not to flinch in front of him again. After her last failure, he declared in front of the entire company, "Talent is a myth. There's only work, and some people aren't built for this work." He meant women like her, slender, quiet, academically inclined. But Riley believed talent was work, merely disguised as instinct. A rumble of thunder underlined his announcement. Echo Bluff sat on limestone bluffs outside Tulsa, Oklahoma, but the storm sweeping and felt Gulf Coast furious. Slick timber and mud would amplify every misstep. Drop if slick conditions have ever rattled your confidence, she thought, almost smiling at the invisible community she'd conjured to counteract the isolation. Warm-ups commenced on the indoor track. Riley loosened shoulders with band pulls, hopped in place to quicken her pulse, then practiced fingertip hangs on a portable pegboard. She counted breaths instead of seconds. Inhale 4, hold 1. Exhale 8, hold 1. The pattern mimicked her father's firing rhythm. It grounded her thoughts. Johansson arrived, bleary-eyed but supportive. "You've got this. Remember to wedge your foot early on the warped wall. Your reach is longer when you steer from the hips." Riley grinned. "I will. Do me a favor, record my time. I'll need evidence when command calls it luck." Another crack of thunder rattled steel rafters. At 0745, they jogged toward the course. Rain intensified. Rivulets turned gravel into slurry. Floodlights flickered as clouds strangled daylight. Spectators, mostly off-duty trainees, clustered under canopies. Mess hall gossip predicted either a spectacular slip or an unceremonious repeat failure. Wagers passed quietly, ration bars, chore trades. A coveted weekend pass. Major Halston, the base commander, awaited at the starting platform. Square-jawed and impartial, he consulted a clipboard. "Archer, you sure about this? Conditions will award no leniency." She nodded. "Respectfully, sir, the course doesn't grade excuses." He clicked his pen once and gestured for Webb to brief the crowd on rules. A hush spread. Webb's voice boomed. "Standard gauntlet obstacle sequence: rope climb, Tyrolean traverse. Monkey rings, log carry, cargo net, warped wall, balance rail, sandbag sprint, closing sprint through the kill line. Record stands at 5:27. Finish sub 5:15, and you'll rewrite compound history. Fail, and administrative review begins Monday." Gasps rippled. Administrative review meant possible termination. In this weather, beating the record seemed improbable. Finishing clean would itself be victory. Webb turned to her, voice dropping. "Give me a miracle, Archer, or give me closure." Riley removed the ankle weights, tucking them under a bench. Her legs felt feather-light. She flexed calves, relishing. The subtle difference. Thunder cracked overhead like a celestial rifle shot. Halston lifted the stopwatch. *Droppa, if thunder drives your heartbeat, she whispered internally, offering empathy to that once invisible audience and to herself. The internal prompts served as rhythm. They spaced her focus, the way mile markers-oriented marathoners, time stretched. She visualized every obstacle as a breathing sequence. Rope climb, burst, pull, lock heels, ascend in 11 moves. Traverse hand over hand, hips high, no sway. Rings, kip, swing, release at apex. Log, carry, shoulder and stride, exhale per 3 steps. Cargo net, knees drive, palms flat. Warped wall, accelerate from 6 strides out. Balance, realize. Forward, arms out. Sandbag, sprint, embrace lactic acid. The crowd's murmurs hushed. The only sound was the sizzling patter of rain on aluminum bleachers. Halston called, "Ready." Riley crouched, fingertips brushing slick starting line paint. Breath slowed until her pulse matched rainfall tempo. Set. Sergeant Webb held. A whistle but paused. Lightning spidered across clouds, illuminating the course like camera flash. When darkness returned, Halston's stopwatch luminesced. Go. The whistle shrieked. Riley launched. She reached the rope. Muddy boots slipped on the takeoff plank, but hands latched thick hemp. She climbed, arms pistoned, strong despite her. Build. 11 moves *1, 2, 3 counting under breath. At the top, bell clanged. 7 seconds. Tyrolean traverse. She hooked ankles, body parallel, hand over hand. Rainwater streamed down rope fibers. Friction burned her palms. She aired out frustration through exhale chants. Steady, steady, steady. 20 seconds elapsed. Monkey. Rings loomed. She swung through arcs, kipping hips. A slip would drop her to penalty burpees, costing 15 seconds. Hands found metal, release, catch, release. She felt father's voice, lead by breath. 44 seconds elapsed. Log carry. A 35-kilogram timber slick with algae. She nested it on right shoulder, balanced weight through core. Quads burned. Mud sucked at her boots, but Johansson's earlier tip echoed, steer from hips. She exhaled per 3 strides, arriving at set down zone at 1:21 on Halston's watch. Net. She dove chest first, climbing like a gecko, rainfall obscuring footholds. One trainee gasped as she nearly missed a knot, but toes found purchase. Over the apex at 1:51, warped wall, 14-foot concave titan. She sprinted 6 strides, felt solace skate on wet plywood, but channeled momentum upward, fingertips brushing. Summit. She scrambled, hooking one heel, pulling chest over lip. Rain hammered her scalp. 218. Balance rail, 2 narrow beams spanning a trench. She inhaled, arms out like her childhood ballet teacher's arabesque. Lightning strobed again. For a heartbeat, she was silhouette alone against voltage. She inhaled, exhaled. Crossed in 15 seconds. Sandbag sprint. Final torture, 25-kilogram sandbag. 200 meters, incline. She gripped side straps, arms dead but spirit volcanic. Lungs flared. She sprinted, each step splashing mud. At 4:50, she cleared the incline crest. Spectators erupted. Disbelief electrified air. Webb's granite face cracked not into a smile, but into something like grudging awe. Yet the course wasn't done. Final 50-meter sprint remained. Riley released sandbag, legs jelly, but adrenaline scalded lactic fog. She bolted, rain carving streaks down cheeks. 30 meters left. 20. 10. The kill line beaconed. 2 vertical posts with infrared finish sensor. She dove, sliding across mud, fingertips first. The stopwatch beeped. Time froze in echoes. Gasps. Cheers and one long Wolf whistle filled the compound. Halston's eyes widened at the display. Riley lay supine, lungs heaving. Rain washed grit from her eyes. She saw a blur of numbers, but not their meaning. Webb approached, bending to show her the watch face. 5 minutes, 15 seconds, and 25 milliseconds. Wait. Decimals flickered. No, 5 minutes, 14 seconds, and 97 milliseconds. Beating Culver's record by precisely 12 hundredths. More than 12 seconds, yet her triumph shattered as pain speared her calf cramp or tear. She couldn't tell. Darkness edged vision like closing theater curtains. Her last coherent sight, Webb waving medics, yet his expression unreadable, respect or regret. She'd learn only awake. Then everything tipped, greater than before. We jump back in. Tell us where you're from. If this story moves you, please subscribe. Tomorrow, I have a special story for you. Over the gurney's edge, surgical floodlights blazed like twin suns, shocking Riley Archer awake just as the intercom screamed for all medics to mobilize. A ragged inhale scraped her throat. Sharp ozone mingled with antiseptic, a hospital scent, tainted by something scorched. Her calf cramped but cooperated when she flexed her ankle. She tried to sit. A firm hand pressed her shoulder. Easy. Lieutenant Parvati Shah, Echo Bluff's chief physician, emerged in cobalt scrubs, eyes shining with clinical curiosity. You blacked out from exertional syncope. Good news, vitals stabilized. Bad news, you've been horizontal exactly 60 seconds longer than base record holder protocol allows for celebrating. Riley's pulse spiked record. She pivoted toward a wall-mounted monitor, displaying her time in looping digits. 5 minutes, 14 seconds, and 97 milliseconds. Proof persisted, yet disbelief gnawed until Shah clicked a screen grab. Saving the figure to her file, Sergeant Webb appeared in the doorway, uniform soaked. Rainwater trailed off his cap brim like glacial melt. Archer, if you can stand, do it now. We've got a situation on deck 3. She swung legs over gurney. Calf twinged but held. Webb extended a hand, practical, not paternal. She accepted, finding leverage. Corridor alarms howled, painting walls red with strobing lights. A chemical storage wing reported elevated temperatures. Compound rumor frothed into panic. Shah tossed Riley a compression sleeve for her calf. Wear it for support. You still need clearance from medical. No time, Webb cut in. Command wants our fastest body to recon the scene. Drop of if urgency has ever overridden protocol, Riley mused silently, fueling her forward velocity. She laced boots, adrenaline smoothing fatigue. Webb handed her a Combs earpiece and a portable thermal scanner. If tanks breach, we've got a toxic plume in under 5 minutes. Evacuate any personnel, then report. Understood. Her voice stayed level, but inside, storm fronts collided. Triumph from the record, dread of fresh trial. They sprinted through stairwells. Rain still thundered on roof panels, a percussion section above the rising alarm. Rayleigh's memories flickered to childhood tornado drills, mother teaching triage in candlelight, father mapping wind direction with chalk on basement floor. Their lessons felt etched in muscle. Deck 3's corridor reeked of chlorine and melting plastic. Vapor curled from under a lab door, shimmering like ghostly curtains. Riley activated thermal scanner. 78 degrees Celsius hotspot, behind southwestern wall panel, near solvent lockers. Inside, 2 lab techs coughed, pinned by toppled shelving. She shoved door, hinges groaning. Heat slapped her face. Goggles fogged instantly. Move! She shouted, dropping to knees where the air was cooler. She crawled, locating First Tech Private Givens trapped beneath metal beam. She wedged a pry bar between beam and floor tile. Calf screamed in protest, but she leveraged torso weight, freeing his leg. Crawl to threshold. Stay low. Second Tech, Specialist Nguyen, lay unconscious, pulse thready. Riley slapped his cheeks. No response, fumes thickened. Scanner readings climbed. Remember, compression carries confidence, her mother's words. Echoed. She fashioned improvised filter masks from lab coats, pressing one over Nguyen's nose before heaving him onto a fire blanket. Shoulders burned. Record-breaking sprint had taxed glycogen reserves. Still, she dragged him through chemical sleet toward exit. At the door, Webb and a hazmat team arrived, sealing airlocks behind them. "Report," he barked. "One unconscious, one mobile. Hotspot near locker cluster Delta. Likely exothermic leak." Hazmat leader Sergeant Lively consulted meter readings. "We deploy foam in 90 seconds, but manual valve shutoff would neutralize faster." Valve location required crawling a perch walkway above drums. Accessible via maintenance ladder, only small-framed personnel could navigate between overhead ducts. Eyes turned to Riley. "I'll go," she said. Webb frowned. "You've barely recovered." She met his gaze, rainwater still dripping from his cap, brim onto her cheek. "We don't have another option." Ladder rungs rattled under wet gloves. Heat bled into solace. At the walkway, clearance narrowed to 40 centimeters tight, but passable. She crouched, shuffling sideways. Vapor obscured floor 30 feet below. She clipped a safety line onto guideline cable and proceeded. Valve wheel glowed orange on thermal overlay. 20 meters, midway, a thunderous pop rocked the lab. A barrel ruptured below, spewing green flame. Shockwave jolted walkway. Bolts groaned. She pressed palms flat, heart hammering. Lead by breath. She inhaled 4 counts, exhaled 8. Balance returned. She resumed. Droppa. If you've ever pressed on despite shaking ground. She offered to the invisible audience and herself. She reached valve, hands blistering before gloves melted. She yanked wheel counterclockwise. Stuck, she repositioned. Stance, channeling core. Wheel budged. Chemical roar softened. Suddenly, walkway bolts snapped. A segment sagged, throwing her off balance. Safety line jerked taut but frayed from earlier heat exposure. She leaned backward, using weight to counter sag while twisting valve the remaining quarter turn. Indicators on hazmat team consoles blinked green. They'd see pressure dropping. Walkway creaked ominously. Safety line strands popped like rifle fire. She lunged for adjacent support beam, wrapping arms around metal just as walkway section she'd stood on seconds earlier detached, clanging into drums below. Her calf cramped brutally. She gritted teeth. Locking on beam, flames subsided, alarms downgraded. But she now hung 4 meters from nearest platform, suspended by bruised forearms over smoldering barrels. Webb's voice crackled in her earpiece. "Archer, status?" "Valve secured. Walkway compromised. Need extraction rope." "On it," Webb replied. But background voices erupted. Command redirecting crews to emergent wildfire evac on training range. Resources stretched thin, she assessed. Beam connected. To duct leading toward ventilation shaft, possible crawl path to mezzanine door. She'd fit. Gear wouldn't. She unclipped scanner, letting it drop to hazmat team below. Logging out. "Find me at mezzanine," she transmitted. She wriggled onto duct, crawling, skin sizzling where metal retained heat. Darkness swallowed her. But for emergency strobes casting hellish crimson. Inside shaft, filters kicked on, drawing out toxic vapor. Oxygen thinned. She counted breaths again, pacing metabolism. Ductwork maze mirrored blueprints. She'd studied during downtime to distract from gossip. They saved minutes now. She emerged into a storage alcove, rolling onto cold cement. Leg muscles twitched with early tetany. She massaged calf, deploying. Shaw's compression sleeve trick. Relief bled in. Footsteps approached Webb and medic team. "Thought you'd vanished." Webb's tone balanced between relief and reprimand. "Route was shorter than waiting," she replied, wincing as medic administered electrolyte injection. Major Halston arrived, flanked by safety officers. "You shut down a catastrophic leak." "Casualties, 0. That's commendable." His gaze softened. "Record still yours, and so is a formal commendation. But Riley noticed something behind Halston. Anomaly readings on a portable sensor displayed not zero hazard, but rising thermal spikes near secondary storage west wing, untouched by foam. "Sir, another hotspot." She pointed. Officers exchanged glances. "Impossible," one muttered. "Those tanks are inert nitrogen." Scanner depicted otherwise. 60 degrees Celsius climbing. Webb cursed softly. "Sabotage?" Sirens trilled a new, different cadence. "Structure integrity alert." Compounds PA sputtered. Asterisk. "All personnel evacuate West Wing immediately." Asterisk hall lights flickered. Floor vibrated. "Evacuate," Halston ordered. "Archer, you're heading out with medics." Before she could answer, ceiling tiles crashed as ventilation ducts burst. Smoke belched, swallowing corridor. She felt old training grooves aligning. Father's sniping calm. Mother's triage decisiveness. She pivoted toward smoke. "There are still cadets in Tactical Comms Lab," she said. "No heroics, Webb." Warned, grabbing her arm. But his grip hesitated. Respect now tempered orders. He released slowly. "At least take backup." A young corporal, Monroe, stepped forward. Riley briefed him. "We go fast, we stay low." They equipped respirators and headlamps, then vanished into opaque gray. Smoke scorched lungs even with filters. Heat signatures bloomed through goggles. They navigated by thermal shapes. Overturned desks, smashed monitors. Distant hammering told of cadets barricading doors. Monroe pounded on lab door. "Emergency response." The door cracked. 3 cadets emerged. One limped, ankle twisted. Riley directed them to safe corridor. But strobing lights revealed splitting wall structure compromise, accelerated. An explosive crack overhead. A steel beam ruptured, descending like a pendulum. Riley shoved Monroe and cadets forward. Beam flattened corridor behind them. Igniting paper stacks. That path blocked return. Alternate exit. Maintenance tunnel under floor grates. She'd studied schematics again. Downtime solace. She pried. Grate with Halligan tool, guiding cadets downward. Tunnel crisscrossed the wing, emerging near parade ground. They crawled through cramped passage, smoke trailing. Tunnel lights flickered powerless. Monroe whispered. Sensors read 0 clearance at outlet. Caved in. Riley's heart pounded. She consulted memory. Side conduit led to vertical service shaft, connecting to roof hatch. She led left. Metal groaned overhead. Building's death rattle quickened. Service shaft ladder rusty but intact. She sent cadets first. Limper struggled. Monroe boosted him. She followed last. Mid-climb, overhead hatch jammed. Monroe strained. Wheel wouldn't budge. Heat soared. Shaft became chimney. Riley examined mechanism lock, sheared crooked. She withdrew multi-tool, hammered pin free. Hatch budged a centimeter. Below, fire raced up tunnel. Seeking oxygen. Asterisk droppa. If you've ever felt time chasing you, she thought, sweat blinding eyes. She braced feet, leveraging full body upward. Smashing shoulder into hatch. Rust surrendered with screech. Cadets spilled under roof, under sheet lightning. Fireball erupted below, prophecy fulfilled. Pressure wave hurled them onto gravel. Rain quenched flames licking hatch edge, from below. Sirens muted. Building exhaled last breath, then silence but for rain hiss. Webb's voice crackled. "Status?" "Roof, alive. Building compromised. Stay put." Chopper extracting. Rotor thrum approached. Floodlights speared rain, spotlighting Riley and survivors. Evat basket descended. She ushered cadets. Monroe entered last. She waved away rescue. Harness offered by crewman. "Send me rope. I'll repel my weight will imbalance basket." Truth. She needed moment alone. Crewman hesitated but complied. Harnessed. She rappelled along facade, feet bouncing off charred brick. She landed near triage tents, Medics rushed. She declined stretcher but allowed vitals check. Across the pad, Webb debriefed Halston. He gestured toward Riley, expression unreadable again. Shaw approached, scanning bruise blooming on Riley's shoulder. "We need X-rays." Later. Riley's gaze fixed on ruinous West Wing. Flames subdued but smoke curling skyward. Investigators swarmed, uncovering evidence. Secondary detonators wired in pattern. Sabotage confirmed. Halston strode over. "Archer, you identified anomaly first. Your observations cut casualties to 0. But compound security breach remains. Whoever planted devices knew our response patterns." She nodded, exhaustion heavier than wet uniform. "We're assigning an internal task force. Sergeant Webb recommended you as liaison specialist Insight." Riley's eyebrows raised. "Webb recommending her?" She glanced. He offered a curt nod. "Debrief." "Starts in 1 hour," Halston continued. "Get patched." As Halston departed, Webb approached alone. Rain still cascaded. He studied her, no derision left. "I misread you." She gave a thin smile. Better than misreading a fuse timer. "Before." He could respond. A sharp crack echoed from ruins. Investigators scattered. A lone spotlight showed a structural beam shifting precariously within its plated steel. A small blinking light. Another device armed and counting. Rayleigh's pulse stumbled. Timer displayed 0:01. 0 o'clock. The night-lit white dot. Everything vanished in a thunderclap. And the ground rose to meet her as if gravity had been fired from a cannon. Ears ringing. Riley Archer tasted powdered concrete while coherent thought fought to surface. A shockwave blasted her sideways, shredding rain into needle spray. She rolled instinctively, palms scraping over shattered gravel that moments before had been the triage pad. She didn't stay prone. Momentum became cover as secondary pops crackled behind her, fragments whining overhead like angry wasps. A charred oxygen tank cart somersaulted past, missing her by a meter. She pushed to elbows, lungs searing in toxic haze. Emergency sirens distorted, warbling through ruptured speakers. Brownout vision swam with red strobes that had blown their filters. Everything alternated ghost white and hell crimson. Asterisk drop. If you've ever woken up inside chaos, asterisk, she muttered inwardly, needing the imaginary audience because real comrades might be unconscious. She scanned. The West Wing skeletal remains jutted against lightning-split sky, now vomiting black smoke through exposed girders. The blast zone sprawled wider than anticipated. Someone's device had targeted structural heart rather than abandoned. Lab. Debris field peppered the parade ground, endangering evac helicopters now circling at higher altitude. Nearby, Sergeant Webb lay half-buried under broken floodlight truss. His lips moved wordlessly. Riley crawled, every muscle objecting like stripped gears, and pried steel lattice off his torso. Her calf screamed but held. Webb's eyes refocused, registering her through dust haze. Status? He coughed, voice rasped raw. "You're breathing. That's victory." She offered iodine-soaked gauze from her pocket med kit. Mother's training again. She taped gauze over a head laceration while scanning perimeter for further devices. Lieutenant Shaw, bruised but upright, herded 3 medics to triage cluster, which now consisted of 1 tent partially on fire. She flagged Riley. "We've got 8 wounded and dwindling supplies. Ops center offline." Comms jammed. Rayleigh's headset fizzed static. Blast likely shredded antenna array. She tapped emergency channel. Nothing but white noise. She tried infrared signal transponder. Indicator flickered red blocked. Sabotage layer 2. Comes. Blackout to hamper coordination. She pivoted to Webb. "We need a command node." "Ops bunker?" "South Ridge," he groaned, levering himself up. "Underground shielded, but entrance passes through fuel farm." If Saboteur planned chain reaction, Riley finished. Then fuel depot could be next target. Seat belt. Clicks overhead signaled incoming rappellers. Command deployed external quick reaction squad. Good sign, but response symmetric. If Saboteur infiltrated QRS or set more timers, windows shrank. She hauled Webb to feet. He grimaced but leaned on her. You lead, I'll keep pace. Thunder answered promise of more rain. They skirted cratered courtyard, weaving among crater debris. Riley's internal clock, another gift from Gauntlet training, tracked seconds. 120 to reach fuel farm perimeter, plus 180 to bunker hatch. She kept mental arithmetic front and center, warding off shock. Along the way, they encountered Corporal Monroe, face soot smeared yet determined. He reported, cadets accounted for. But I saw a silhouette leaving blast epicenter with a Sut pack. Couldn't pursue under debris shower? Description? Webb asked. Medium build, night camo poncho. Could be anyone from staff to visiting contractors. Riley's gut clenched. Contractor rosters were huge. She told Monroe to escort medics. Then resumed sprint. Fuel farm loomed. Row of cylindrical tanks outlined by shadowy floodlights that flickered. Rain finally quenched surface flames, but created slick sheen over service roads. The smell of raw diesel hung heavy dot as they neared. They spotted crawlspace door ajar beneath main catwalk. Riley motioned silent halt, then crouched, retrieving. Father's old monocular from pocket modified with digital low-light overlay she'd tinkered during insomnia nights. She scanned. Interior showed faint heat, signature human placing object at tank base. Saboteur still present. Webb mouthed, we flank. But approach across metal grates would echo. Riley weighed options, she whispered. I crawl ducked again. You create diversion east. He nodded reluctantly, then shuffled off. She leveraged ballet-learned flexibility to slip under rail, moving Spider quiet on elbows through puddles. She wished for chalk, but mud-smeared gloves sufficed. 5 meters. She identified device rectangular, with fiber optic fuse leading into shaped charge. Timer, 2:15 counting down. Saboteur dash masked, lean frame adjusted detonator. Riley timed inhale. Father's marksmanship focus weaponized into movement. On exhale she surged, shoulder tackling Saboteur sideways. They rolled, splash of diesel-tainted water. The fight was silent, deadly. Saboteur produced combat knife. Reflection lightning blue. Riley trapped wrist with taped hands, twisting until blade clattered. She recognized style bone-on-bone joint lock from Specforce manuals. Adversary trained. Saboteur headbutted. Stars exploded behind her eyes. He voice grunted low, kicked explosive case toward tank. She scrambled, intercepting with boot, sliding it away onto gravel. Overhead, Webb's diversion began. He shouted and tossed smoke grenade east. Security klaxon diverted floodlights. Saboteur interpreted confusion as escape cue. He elbowed her. Sternum rolled away, sprinting toward canal drainage. Riley considered pursuit, but prioritized bomb. Timer now 140, she assessed. Shaped charge aimed at structural seam. Remote sync possibility unknown. She could attempt defusal or relocate device beyond blast radius. Relocation safer, but seconds slim. She hefted case surprisingly light. She sprinted across slick service road, scanning for blast berm. 30 meters north, earthen riot wall rose. She accelerated. Calf twinge threatened Charlie horse. Compression sleeve held. She dived behind berm, depositing case in drainage culvert. Timer 047. She retreated 10 meters, kneeling behind concrete pylon. Asterisk droppa, if you've ever counted your heartbeats while a clock ticked louder. She thought. Pulse jackhammering. At 0. Dull thud, small concussive hiss. No tank. Rupture, she exhaled, but sat pack still with Saboteur. Unknown payload. Webb rejoined, limping. Saw him vanish into storm drain. Base grid leads under airstrip. Riley tightened ponytail. Airstrip houses munitions vault. They exchanged grim looks. Webb hailed security via short-range fiber link. He jury-rigged by plugging handset into floodlight maintenance jack. Static, then partial connection. He reported sabotage chain, requesting lockdown. HQAI voice responded. Authentication error. System override in progress. Saboteur hacking ops. They were racing Phantom. Riley recalled local topography. Storm drains formed subterranean lattice. An access grate spilled near obstacle course kill line, the very place she'd broken record. Irony thick dot she proposed intercept. She'd sprint. Across field while Webb mustered quick reaction squad from perimeter barracks. He countered, "You need team." She argued, "Team takes time. Record says I outrun timers." His lips pressed thin but he conceded. "Take sidearm." He handed her compact pistol. She chamber checked, nodding. They parted. Running through pelting rain over course she conquered hours ago felt surreal. Floodlights now dead. Only memory guided her. Rope post, traverse tower, warped wall silhouette. Lightning offered flash photography glimpses. She reached kill line. Grate lay partially open. Boot prints in mud. Confirmed path. She dropped, careful of wet ladder rungs. Sub-level pitch black. She flicked flashlight. Beam slicing damp tunnel. Damp stone echoed drips. She advanced, pistol ready. Ahead. Green glow sticks marked route saboteur anticipating darkness. Confident. She pocketed one to mask own light signature. She slowed breathing, adopting father's sniper calm. Footfalls soft, balanced. She heard metallic clink tools, assembling. Then electronic chime arming sequence. She inched to doorway of vault antechamber. Inside, saboteur knelt over cask of C4 bricks, linking wires to remote frequency board. His mask lay aside, face revealed. Riley froze. It was Captain Grayson, base cybersecurity chief, decorated veteran, mentor to many. Betrayal stung. Why? No time for motives. She leveled pistol. "Captain, step back." He turned, expression tranquil, almost sad. "Archer, you surprised me again." His finger hovered near radio transmitter. "One press destroys half the compound. You shoot, my grip reflex complete circuit." Stalemate. She evaluated options. Disarm him physically? Risk reflex. Negotiate? Need leverage. She recalled father's advice on hostage standoffs. Asterisk. Shift battlefield to mental terrain the opponent has neglected. Asterisk. She spoke softly. "You calculated angles but missed one variable. Me. You know my file says slender, underestimated." "But did you factor endurance?" He tilted head. "Your record run impressed analysts, but endurance can't outrun detonation velocity." She stepped closer, centimeter at a time. "Maybe I can outrun your doubts." Conversation felt absurd, but bought seconds. She observed grip, thumb resting on safety cover. Nerve reflex patterns slower if pressed sideways rather than downward. She considered shot to radial nerve to disable hand without lethal hit, but angle poor. Sudden flash. Webb appeared in tunnel behind Grayson, silent, pistol drawn. Riley's eyes widened fraction. She resisted glance, but subtle tension shift alerted Grayson. He pivoted. Riley fired first, aiming at transmitter, not him. Bullets shattered plastic. Sparks erupted. Reflex pressed dead switch, but circuit incomplete. Grayson roared, lunging, tackling her hard. Pistol skittered away. They grappled, wrestling across damp floor toward live explosives. Webb sprinted forward but slipped on algae, losing split second. Grayson straddled Riley, hands on her throat. She fought fogging vision. Remembered mother's triage trick. Finger into suprasternal notch. She jabbed. Grayson gasped, loosening grip. She seized his wrist, twisting until bones threatened to snap. He headbutted against stars and freed. Scrambling for secondary remote. Webb launched football tackle, all weight driving Grayson into cask pile. Remote skidded under shelf. Grayson drew backup knife. Webb blocked, but blade sliced forearm. Riley grabbed length of detonator cord, looping it around Grayson's arm, yanking him backward. He swung knife wildly. She rotated, applying police arm. Trap, knife clattered. Together she and Webb pinned him, cuffing with zip ties. Breathing ragged, they rolled away from explosive stack. Riley secured remotes in lead case. Grayson watched, expression drained. She asked, "Why do this?" He sighed, sounding ancient. "Command cuts budgets, sells our protocols to private. Bidders, I expose vulnerabilities. The world sees efficiency myth. You risked lives." Her voice cracked. "Sacrifice for systemic overhaul." Webb spat blood. "You're delusional." Footsteps and flashlights flooded tunnels. QRS arrived. They escorted Grayson away. Riley sank against wall, adrenaline expiring. Calf throbbed a symphony. Webb sat beside her, silent COMPANION, a BLE. Drop a, if betrayal has ever blindsided. You *, she offered spirit audience, exhale shaky. Overhead, compound sirens finally fell mute. Rain softened to drizzle, 0600 hours. Dawn's first gray light filtered through tunnel vents as they emerged topside. Smoke columns rose but fires contained. Casualty list remained 12 minor injuries, no fatalities. Miracle given sabotage. Scale. Major Halston met them at perimeter tape. U2 neutralized threat, apprehended traitor. We owe you. He eyed Riley's bloodied sleeves, fractured wristwatch face. Medical for both. Webb started to protest, but Riley pushed him toward stretcher. She followed. In infirmary, Shaw splinted Webb's arm, stitched Riley's eyebrow. She declared calf strain grade, 2 crutches recommended. Riley groaned. Halston summoned them to debrief later morning but insisted rest first. But rest refused Riley's mind. She lay on cot, staring ceiling tiles while base hummed with repair crews. Records still displayed on internal newsfeed, overshadowed by sabotage headline. She should feel triumphant, yet lingered questions gnawed. Who else colluded? What exactly did Grayson mean by protocol sales? Sleep claimed her only when exhaustion suffocated curiosity. She dreamed of obstacle course again. But this time each station crumbled behind her like dominoes, chasing her with explosions. Riley startled awake to alarms, but not sirens. Phone alarm set by nurse signaled debrief in 5 minutes. She rose, calf stiff but weight-bearing. She donned fresh camo, pinned hair back, inhaled fortitude. Briefing room packed. Halston, intelligence officers, cyber forensic duo, Websat. Front row, arm and sling. Halston spoke. Captain Grayson acted alone, according to preliminary logs. But his method exploited outdated security. We established task force to audit infrastructure. Sergeant Webb will head. Archer, your designated tactics in-depth advisor. Murmurs from brass. Unusual to grant such role to specialists still on probation. Halston raised hand. Her performance proves qualification. Riley swallowed. Gratitude twined with pressure. Meeting shifted to timeline. Forensics officer revealed discovery. Grayson downloaded classified ops playbooks onto encrypted drive. Still missing. Riley's heartbeat quickened. Could drive be placed before capture? Possibly in sabotage. Kit? They hadn't recovered any drive. Search radius extended. Riley's mental map highlighted one blind spot. Drainage culvert where she ditched first device. Unsearched. Halston authorized retrieval team. Riley insisted to accompany. They needed her memory of terrain. He hesitated, but allowed with escort and medical clearance. Afternoon sun evaporated puddles as they approached culvert. Metallic smell lingered from diffused bomb. Riley crouched, scanning no obvious case. But fresh Prince boot, tread exactly her size overlaid. Older, Someone else visited after explosion. She crawled inside, flashlight sweeping. 10 meters in, something glittered. Small black drive, wedged under pipe bracket. She plucked with forceps into Faraday bag. A sigh of relief, but then hum of motor behind. She emerged to see military sedan idling, driver window rolled. Civilian. Man in dark suit gestured. Not base personnel. Suit smiled thinly. Miss Archer, Directorate thanks you for service. We'll take custody of drive. Webb stepped between. Chain of evidence belongs to Echo Bluff. Suit produced badge. Defense Intelligence Liaison. Higher authority. Halston's sedan arrived. Tension high. Minutes later, inside conference. Tent, Directorate agent. Name Valence. Connected drive to isolated sandbox. Screen flooded with files-based blueprints, emergency response schedules, plus an unfamiliar folder labeled Project Longsight. Encrypted. Valence insisted Longsight above base clearance. Halston argued sabotage implications created local jurisdiction. Riley interjected, if Longsight influenced Grayson's motive, we need context. Valence smirked. Curiosity exceeds pay grade. Webb bristled. She outranks most on heroism scale. Valence sighed. Fine. Longsight is predictive AI analyzing physical training metrics to pre-select operatives for covert allocation. Grayson oversaw cyberphase. He feared data would funnel recruits to private security bidding war, not national service. Riley felt chill. Her PT data, record run prime asset. Valence continued. Drive contained compiled candidate list top. Percentile, you. Eyes turned to her. Valence. Offers will come. Choose wisely. Halston protested, but Directorate authority stood. Riley processed. Her success may compromise autonomy. Meeting adjourned. Valence departed with drive for DC, but not before handing Riley a card. Potential is duty. Dusk, Riley stood. Alone on obstacle course, now cordoned for repairs. Cloudbanks glowed amber. She flexed calf, still tender but stronger. Webb joined quietly. World shifted today. She nodded. What's next, Sergeant? He gazed horizon. Task force. First, then maybe you decide if Echo Bluff big enough. She traced record time engraved newly on digital board. Beneath, maintenance crew installed plaque reading, *Archer, 5 minutes 14 seconds and 97 milliseconds. Earned in storm. Wind rustled, carrying generator hum and faint sirens from distant city. Normal life reminding them chaos temporary. But she felt new storm brewing. Corporate lobbies eyeing her resilience. Government agencies courting. Freedom versus duty. *Droppa, if you've ever faced a choice that could rewrite everything. She whispered to herself. Lightning. Flared south, silent but ominous. Behind them, base PA crackled unexpectedly online. An automated voice declared, incoming priority transmission from Directorate. For Specialist Archer's eyes only. She met Webb's gaze. Uncertainty mirrored. Transmission speakers hissed, then delivered coordinates of undisclosed facility. And a 6-hour travel window. Final line chilled her. Fail to report and your record time will be the least remembered fact about you. Wind died, leaving silence heavy. Cliff edge widened beneath her feet. She inhaled through parted lips, tasting ozone and uncertainty in equal measure. **, cold open hook, 32 words. **, 6 hours later, Riley Archer knelt on the edge of a humming cargo ramp, 40,000 feet over the Nevada Badlands, countdown strobing. Red on her wrist while a night vision parachute waited to bloom. Wind battered her cheeks like hard slaps, but the roar in her ears was nothing compared to the echo of that ultimatum. Fail to report, and your record time will be the least. Remembered fact about you. 30 seconds. Barked the jumpmaster, a stoic woman in matte gray flight suit. Around them, the Herc's ramp lights glowed muffled crimson. Beside Riley, 3 burly operators checked oxygen masks, their body language unreadable behind mirrored visors. Directorate liaisons? Private contractors? Her dossier now sat on someone's auction block. She centered breath. Inhale 4. Hold 1. Exhale 8. Father's sniper cadence doubled as parachute zen. Greater than asterisk. Drop a, if you've ever been pushed toward a door you never asked to open. Asterisk. The Jumpmaster clipped a locator beacon to Riley's harness. Touch ground. Follow the blue strobes to intake checkpoint. Don't stray. Dessert will eat you. Roger. A nod sufficed. 20 seconds. Memory. Flash to earlier that day. Asterisk. Halston clasping her shoulder on the parade ground. Webb standing nearby in sling. This isn't an order, Archer, but ignoring Directorate invitation carries complications. Webb's eyes told her he mistrusted Suits but believed in her agency. He'd whispered, "Keep radio silence and leave breadcrumbs." Asterisk 10 seconds. Her calf still ached, but Shaw's kinesiotape and electrolytes restored elasticity. She flexed ankle, harness snug. 5. She leaned into wind, letting cold carve hesitation away. Green. Gravity seized her. Asterisk 2,300 hours. Drop zone echo. Nevada test range. Asterisk freefall stripped thought to raw instinct. She counted 1001, 1002, then tugged. Canopy snapped open, tugging spine, and world slowed into surreal. Hush. Below, basalt mesas shimmered under half-moon like drowned cities. The only artificial light, a narrow runway flanked by 2 rows of cobalt strobes, broke darkness. Like surgical incision, she adjusted toggles, angling slipstream. Altimeter ticked. Thin air bit exposed skin, but adrenaline warmed marrow. At 600 feet she flared, touching sand with practiced roll, knees absorbing kinetic sting. She unclipped chute, bundling fabric under armpit, and sprinted toward lights despite calf protest. A perimeter fence emerged, 10-foot electrified mesh humming softly. A single gate parted as motion detector registered her beacon. Beyond, tarmac. Led to a squat bunker built into mesa wall, no signage, no guards aside from 1 camera lens tracking. A biometric pedestal awaited inside airlock. She pressed palm. Scanner cooled skin. Asterisk identity confirmed. Archer Riley Adore hissed open. Inciting incident complete. 2,315 hours. Facility longside intake. Asterisk. The antechamber was antiseptic white floor. Ceiling, walls seamless polymer. Only furniture, a rectangular dais, supporting a translucent tablet. It lit as she approached, projecting a holoprompt. Asterisk. Welcome. Strip to underlayer and deposit all gear. Asterisk. She hesitated. Boots, field pants, father's monocular, they felt like identity. But she complied. Except for compression sleeve technically underlayer. Tablet flashed green. Another door opened. Room 2, circular, dim, lined with vertical light pillars. An AI voice, calm and feminine, floated from nowhere. Archer Riley, age 29, Voc Max 65, resting heart 47, reaction. Latency 0.19 seconds. You qualified for Project Longsight Phase 2. Define Phase 2, she said aloud. Assessment of anticipatory performance under unscripted threat arrays. Sounds like another gauntlet. Analogous, yes. Begin when ready. Floor. LEDs lit a spiral path to center where a handheld device rested. Sleek pistol-sized scanner. No trigger, no barrel. She lifted. Old displayed her vitals in real time. Your mission, AI continued, is to navigate corridors, locate 3 code nodes, and extract encryption keys within 20 minutes. What happens if I fail? Phase ends. Ambiguous not. Life, threatening yet. Timer materialized 0 hours 20 minutes and 0 seconds. Counting down, she sprinted. Corridor gauntlet. Walls shifted as she ran. Panels sliding to open new vectors, labyrinth alive. First node located behind pressure, locked hatch requiring grip strength. She wedged fingers along seam, channeling body weight, and tore panel upper body deficiency, addressed months ago, now bore fruit. Key extracted. Bronze sphere glowing teal. Second node deeper, amid strobing lights, simulating fire scenario. Heat lamps blasted. She crawled beneath thermal jets, flashbacks of chemical lab earlier. She remembered joystick maneuvers, grip sensors. Here measured resilience under thermal stress. She rotated node clockwise. Sphere 2 pulsed. Timer 7:43. Third zone flooded knee-deep with chilled water. Replicating hull breach perhaps. Her calf cramped instantly. She massaged while waiting, searching for node disguised among metallic buoy floats. She exhaled, slowing pulse until water temperature shock diminished. Found it, twisting tri-dial combination. Timer 122, exit signal by vertical shaft. She scaled ladder rungs, calf screaming but not failing. At top, biometric plate demanded. Spheres, she slotted them. Door unsealed with hiss as timer hit 0:05. Made it. Asterisk. Control chamber asterisk room resembled mission control. Tiered consoles. Holographic world maps. Walls lined with transparent servers pulsing azure. Center stage. Agent Valence, suit crisp as before. Flanked by 2 analysts and a graying woman in slim civilian attire. Valence clapped slowly. Impressive again. He gestured to woman. Director Sutton, program head. Sutton's gaze dissected. Riley like MRI. Your adaptability index surpassed 98th percentile. She tapped tablet. We accelerate offers. Sit. Riley remained standing. Define offers, Valence smiled. Placement in joint venture of state and private relief units, high impact, real-world crises, compensation generous. Autonomy. Relative, she frowned. I enlisted to serve public, not profit. Sutton tilted head. Binary morality is luxury. Our world expects hybrid solutions. Grayson believed you'd auction talent. Riley fired back. Captain Grayson acted on incomplete intel and personal grudges. His sabotage nearly killed comrades. Sutton's voice frosted. We salvage. She imagined being resource rather than person. Valence slid dossier across table. First page. Tasking order. Classified deployment to site Rigel in 72 hours. She scanned. Desert extraction of threatened diplomatic convoy. Harrowing but noble. Second page. Contract addendum binding her to 5-year term with non-disclosure and relocation clause. No mention of volunteer status. You assume I accept, she said. Your record indicates strong sense of duty. You won't abandon potential to save lives, Sutton said. Riley bristled, manipulation disguised as flattery. She needed counsel, but comes confiscated. Only internal compass. Greater than asterisk. Drop a, if you've ever felt cornered by compliments. Asterisk. Crisis. And reveal asterisk. Riley exhaled, centering. I'll sign nothing until I confirm autonomy. Sutton shrugged. Sign or don't. Either way, you leave facility with memory suppressant patch if declining. She produced injector small disk. Security measure. Wiping memory? Outrage simmered. Valence sighed. Protocol. We can't release classified data. Side effects minor. 24 hours retrograde amnesia. 24 hours would erase sabotage hunt. Webb's trust. Record triumph. Her story. Resolution crystallized. Escape, but she needed plan. Facility likely subterranean labyrinth with armed guards. However, she memorized corridor layout during run mental map asset. Sutton waited. Riley signed nothing. Instead, she flipped dossier shut. May I think in private? Valence gestured to antechamber. 10 minutes. They escorted her to glass-walled lounge, cameras visible. Door locked behind. Reflection and covert prep inside. She paced. Memory suppressant patch imminent. She scanned room. 2 chairs, water dispenser, potted ficus, ventilation grate overhead. Cameras tracked movement. Escape route. Ventilation duct maybe leads to surface. But cameras would catch removal. She studied ficus, a real plant, pot filled with loamy soil hiding small moisture sensor. She unscrewed sensor casing, extracting thumb-sized lithium cell. She pocketed dot. She examined water dispenser. Metal reservoir cap, unscrewed revealing thin plastic tank. She tore cup, shaping into reflective shim. She sat, breathing calm, waiting for guard. Young technician entered with injection kit and clipboard. "Ma'am, cognitive safeguard procedure." He seemed jittery. She smiled disarmingly. "May I drink first? Mouth dry." He nodded. She approached dispenser, filling cup, surreptitiously slipping reflective shim into water. She handed to him. "Hold this, please." He complied reflexively. She twisted and slammed sensor battery. Across back of his ear, stunning. Cup flew, water splashing cameras. Metallic shim short-circuited lens with sizzling. Spark dot camera feed blind for seconds. She bound tech's wrists with cable from sensor harness, murmuring apology. She swapped her badge onto his lanyard door, required ID proximity. Door lock. Beeped. She slipped into corridor. Escape maze. She ducked left. Memory recalling maintenance shaft 2 junctions away. Footsteps echoed, alarm raised. She sprinted, calf threatening mutiny but drive unstoppable. Maintenance door sealed with keypad. She guessed default override used earlier in lab. 1138 classic. Lock click. Inside, junction boxes hummed. She located ladder ascending towards surface ventilation. She climbed halfway. Klaxon blared. Protocol Theta. Archer is non-compliant. Intercept. At hatch she emerged on flat mesa rooftop, stars brilliant. Wind cold, but relief fleeting searchlights. Snapped on. Operators poured from stairwells with stun rifles. She ran, dodging between HVAC units. A helicopter revved on pad ahead, rotors slow idle. Pilot seat empty, crew prepping. She charged. A guard appeared. She dropped into slide tackle, sweeping legs. He fell. She snagged his keycard. She bounded. Up side ladder into cockpit. Slamming door. Keycard into ignition systems, spooled though training limited to theory. She toggled auto hover. Rotor speed built. Guards shouted. She lacked time to secure doors. Bullets pinged fuselage. She throttled collective. Craft lifted shakily. She wrestled cyclic, clearing pad, yawing over canyon. Alarms beeped but altitude. Climbed. But autopilot indicated remote override active, valence likely hacking flight control. Collective froze mid-air. Chopper lurched, nose dipping. She remembered lithium cell leftover. Battery might short override board. She pried. Avionics panel, yanked connector, sparking. Control momentarily freed. Override reboot countdown 30 seconds. She set heading toward Mountain Ridge. Low altitude to mask radar. Override regained. Chopper began forced return. She couldn't win tug war. She scanned cabin emergency parachute pack. Decision. Bail. She keyed autopilot into climb 5,000 feet, then locked stick with headset cords to buy time. She opened side door. Fling of wind. "Sorry for the mess," she muttered, and jumped. Freefall 2 Desert Night rushed up. She stabilized belly down. Deploying chute, early given low altitude. Canopy blossomed midnight blue. Chopper above banked back toward base, searchlights scanning. She rode wind drifting toward dark wedge of canyon. Hard landing on rocky slope left shoulders bruised but bones intact. She detached harness, burying. Chute under stones. Darkness offered brief cloak. Survival trek. No supplies. Temperature near freezing. She oriented using stars northwest to closest rural highway 15 kilometers. Calf barked but legs moved. Each step forward felt like rewriting fate line by line. Hours passed. She rationed breaths, recalling mother's desert hydration tips. Breathe through nose. Conserve moisture. About 0400, dawn blush teased horizon. She topped ridge and spotted faint headlights on distant road. But closer, she heard engine idling's UV black, tinted windows, parked beside weather station. She crouched behind sagebrush. Door opened. Silhouette familiar. Webb. Heart lifted. He called softly, Archer. She emerged. He grinned. Rev late. Left breadcrumbs good enough. He tossed canteen and field jacket. How did you? Directorate HQ flagged unauthorized flight. I calculated drop vector. Relief flooded, but headlights cresting ridge behind 2 pursuit trucks. Get in, Webb said. Tires spun gravel as they accelerated down service trail. High-speed chase unfolded across Mesa Flats. Pursuers gained, their vehicles outfitted with run-flat tires. Webb handed Riley his sidearm. She unlatched rear hatch window, kneeling on seat, aiming at lead truck radiator. Bumps jostled. Aim! She fired 3 round sparks, fluid spray. Truck veered, colliding with partner. Cloud of dust. They sped onto highway. Webb spoke. We cross state line. Their jurisdiction wanes. But helicopter rotor noise thrummed overhead. Same. Craft regained. Tracking via beacon. Maybe still on harness? She yanked beacon from pocket, flung into desert. Chopper circled confusion. Asterisk 0600, abandoned diner. Route 50 asterisk. They parked behind derelict building. Sun rose, painting world honey gold. Inside diner, dust motes danced. Webb produced encrypted. Satellite phone. Halston establishing safe house. First we disinfect calf and rest. While he bound her leg, she recounted memory wipe threat. Webb cursed. We expose long sight, Riley exhaled. But first we need proof beyond stolen drive. Webb nodded. Grayson kept backups. Where would he hide? They brainstormed. Grayson enjoyed rock climbing, had cabin near Echo Bluff Cliffs. Possibly remote server stash. Decision. Return to Oklahoma covertly. Retrieve evidence, but phone buzzed unknown text. Asterisk. Leave long sight alone or casualties escalate. Last warning. Followed by live photo of Echo Bluff Infirmary Shah and Johansson. Timestamp minutes ago. Hostages. Shock struck like snakebite. Riley's stomach iced. Webb looked ready to rip steel. They're leveraging your friends. Riley steadied breath. Asterisk. Measure wind. Led by breath. Let intention be your trigger. Asterisk. She pocketed phone, eyes blazing determination. Then we take long sight down before they hurt anyone. Plan? Webb asked. She scanned diner rusted stagecoach sign above counter. Sparked idea. We beat them at their own prediction game. We write a variable they can't compute. Before Webb could ask. Outside rumble signaled convoy approaching. Dust plume of multiple SUVs. They were boxed. She eyed back door blocked by fallen freezer. Only exit. Roof hatch. She grabbed Webb's sling strap. Up. They scrambled onto rooftop as convoy halted. Men in tactical gear fanned around diner. Riley assessed. Roof weak. She jumped to adjacent gas station canopy. Tin groaned but held. Webb followed one-armed. They raced across canopy, leaping onto supply shed, then down to drainage ditch unseen. Convoy team breached diner below as they vanished into culvert. Asterisk ditch network escape. Asterisk water trickled, masking footsteps. Culvert led under highway toward train tracks. Fortune. Distant freight horn sounded. Riley accelerated, adrenaline overriding pain. They emerged by rails as freight lumbered west at slow incline. She flagged conductor. Risky. Instead, they approached last boxcar ladder, timing strides. She helped Webb climb, then swung aboard herself. Train clattered into sunrise, carrying them away from diner squad. Inside boxcar, Silence except rhythmic steel symphony. They slumped against crates. Webb exhaled shaky laugh. Yesterday you broke a record. Today hijacked chopper, boarded freight. What's next? She smiled grim. Tomorrow we break an algorithm. Boxcar door clanged behind someone else aboard. Shadows shifted. She drew sidearm. Figure raised hands. Johansson, eyes wide, wearing medical scrubs. How? Riley stammered. Directorate released us as bait. I overheard they'd track you here. I escaped ambulance, hopped train minutes ago. Reunion cut short by screech of brakes. Emergency stop. Boxcar jerked, throwing them. Distant PA yelled evacuation order. Outside, on embankment, a barrier cranes collapsed onto track. Sabotage again. Pursuers closing in. Riley helped Johansson up. Webb peeked. Door gap. Multiple SUVs arrayed like chess blockade. He turned, face stern. We're trapped. Riley surveyed interior crates labeled lithium battery packs. Explosive potential. Mind raced. Aligning improbable tactic. Use train car as distraction. Thunderous crack. SUV loudspeaker boomed. Archer, surrender. Final chance. Riley set jaw. Not final. She pried crate lid, revealing battery bricks and foam separators. Webb realized plan. We rigged charge. Detach car. Ride across river bridge while they focus on bomb. She nodded. They worked rapidly, combining batteries with flare powder from emergency kits to craft smoke burst. Johansson engineered timing fuse using medical. 4 tubing. Cliffhanger building. They mounted coupling release lever. Riley lit fuse, shoved crate near door. Ready? She asked. Fuse hissed. They uncoupled boxcar. Locomotive ahead lurched forward, leaving car behind. Riley and team sprinted across catwalk into next car as train moved. They slammed door. Behind. Boxcar drifted. Fuse nearing payload. Pursuers revved engines. Approaching. Riley watched through porthole as smoke bomb erupted into dense cobalt cloud. Sensors jammed. Pursuers braked blind, but too late. The car exploded in flash fire, disabling vehicles. Shockwave hit train, tossing. Car, rails buckled. Their car derailed, tipping toward River Gorge. Gravity tilted floor. They scrambled for opposite wall. Metal screamed. Car edged closer to precipice, wheels grinding air. Outside window, 100-foot drop awaited. Car rocked. Once, hanging on single axle, metal creaked. Rivets shrieked like tortured birds, and the boxcar finally surrendered to gravity. Cold open hook, 34 words. The railcar peeled free of its last axle and tumbled toward the river gorge, flinging Riley, Archer, Sergeant Webb, and Johansson into a zero-gravity lurch that felt terrifyingly slow and then brutally fast. Time and free fall sliced itself into vivid freeze frames, pale dawnlight glaring through shattered steel ribs. Johansson's mint-green scrubs fluttering like shredded flags. Webb's injured arm arcing weightless as he shoved Riley toward an overhead ventilation grate. And Riley's own heartbeat thundering louder than screeching metal. The railcar rotated nose first. Its floor now a wall whipped past Riley's boots. She flung both arms upward, fingers clawing for anything. They found the rim of that ventilation grate just as momentum yanked the car 90 degrees. Muscles screamed, but she held. Webb collided against a pile of cargo straps, grunting as sling jolted. Johansson slid, limbs windmilling. Riley kicked off grate frame, launching sideways. She intercepted Johansson mid-air, hooking a hand through the backup emergency ladder rungs welded near the ceiling, which was no longer above them, but perpendicular to the sky. Asterisk droppa, if you've ever felt the world flip beneath you. Asterisk wind howled through torn boxcar seams. Below, the Arkansas River slammed past in frothing turbulence, swollen by spring melt and last night's storm. Sunlight refracted off water into knives of blinding glare. The car's far end smashed a boulder first. Metal imploded with thunder. Shock rippled through beams. Ladder bolts sheared one by one. They had maybe 4 seconds before full collapse. Riley's mind fired. Options: 1. Ride the car into the river and pray integrity holds. Unlikely. Steel would crumple and trap them. 2. Jump 20 meters into rapids, risk broken bones. But chance to surface free. She yelled over chaos. On 3. We jump for the water. Webb's eyes widened, but he nodded, trusting her again despite his arm. 1. Johansson braced, white-knuckled. 2. The final bolt screeched metal gave. 3. They pushed off ladder, limbs flailing for aerodynamic control. Gravity seized them into an almost serene fall before the river swallowed with a roar. Hydraulic blackout. That first half-second underwater obliterated direction. Icy current pummeled bodies against submerged rocks. Riley's calf cramped instantly, nerves remembering chemical lab burn, but adrenaline overrode pain. She frog-kicked, letting buoyancy guide rise. Murky torrents clouded vision. She followed the faint glow of dawn above. She broke surface, gasping, scanning. 20 meters upstream, boxcar plunged, sending tidal wave. Debris rained. Webb surfaced near a bank, sling half torn. Johansson popped up downstream, head bobbing dangerously. Riley inhaled, then dolphin dived toward Johansson. Current ripped them farther. She reached Scrub's collar, pulling into lifesaver hold, learned from Mother's rescue swim drills. They spun into eddy near granite outcrop. Riley fought whirlpool. Fingers found slippery moss-covered ledge. She heaved Johansson upward. Both flopped onto rock shelf, coughing. Webb slogged waist, deep, boots dragging, but climbed beside them. Blood seeped from reopened forearm wound. For a moment, they simply breathed, a shared, shuddering oath of survival. Asterisk backstory thread. Interlaced, raindrops of memory pattered Riley's skull. Her father teaching eddy navigation on Lake Tenkiller. Mother lecturing about hypothermia progression. Those fragments shaped present action. She checked Johansson's pupils responsive. She used Webb's torn sling as pressure wrap for Johansson's scraped temple. Riverbank brush offered minimal concealment. Up canyon, the disabled SUVs still smoked on tracks. Beyond wreckage, dust plumes indicated reinforcements en route. Pursuers wouldn't assume death until bodies recovered. They had maybe 20 minutes. Inciting incident next phase. Riley studied topography. Gorge walls climbed steep east and gentler west where a disused telegraph route snaked toward an abandoned mining town, Cranes Hollow, 10 kilometers. Mining tunnels might mask from aerial surveillance. She relayed plan. Webb approved. Johansson vowed she could limp. They ascended western scree slope, slipping on shale. Calf pain sharpened, but adrenaline's morphine persisted. Compression carries confidence, she reminded. Tightening sleeve. At ridge crest, they ducked under. Juniper canopy. Birdsong replaced metal screams. Yet drones buzzed faintly. Aerial search grid. Drop a if you've ever hidden while the sky hunted you. Riley signaled hush. They crawled under fallen log as quadcopter zipped overhead. Infrared scanners glowing. Their soaked clothes read cold. Water saved them. Drones sought warm signatures. Once clear, they resumed trot along game path. Webb lagged blood loss. Riley distributed electrolytes from her emergency capsule necklace, tiny chewable salts. Their camaraderie knit tighter. With each shared resource, Cranes Hollow emerged midday. Weather, gray shacks, rusted tipple, and yawning mine mouth swallowed by darkness. Perfect hide, but maybe inhabited by squatters. Riley led silently. Entry hall littered with cans, graffiti, coyotes rule. But deepest corridors untouched. They squeezed past collapsed beam into service alcove where emergency lockers still clung to wall. Inside one, Dusty coveralls, battery lamps, bolt cutters, a jackpot. They changed into dry layers. Riley replaced ruined boots with steel-toe miners. Calf sighed at firm support. Provisions, expired rations, but protein bars still edible. They ate sparingly. Crisis and reveal, unexpected occupant shuffling. Echoed down main tunnel. Riley killed lamp, drawing sidearm. A figure appeared, teenager, maybe 18, holding antique lever action rifle. Eyes widened at trio. Riley lowered muzzle. We're not here to hurt you. Kid hesitated. You feds? Opposite. Webb managed smile. We're trouble for them. Kid Elias revealed he and older sister Ori leave stream abandoned mine. Exploration for followers using drone repeaters. Directorate team seized drones near canyon yesterday, threatening family to vacate. Ori still out retrieving equipment. Riley instantly saw leverage. Drone network could broadcast long-sight evidence globally. Bypass mainstream suppression. She asked Elias access to repeater node. He agreed if they rescue Ori. Win-win. Moral. Compass test passed. They geared up with helmets and climbed ventilation shaft to south exit. A stone chimney overlooking ravine where Ori last pinned. Hazy afternoon sun-baked shale. They descended switchbacks. Below, 2 directorate operatives interrogated Ori beside seized drone case. Riley assessed distances, 50 meters, moderate cover of boulders. Webb, one-armed, could provide suppressing fire if needed. Rayleigh opted stealth. She crawled flanking. Root, using sagebrush. Calf cringed, but mind overrode tissue. At 15 meters, he triggered rockslide sound opposite side. Operatives shifted. Ori head butted nearest, grabbing case. Sprinting toward Riley unknowingly, when pursuit gave chase. Riley emerged, clothesline first man, twisting wrist to disarm stun baton. She gut-kicked second, sweeping legs. Webb hobbled over, weapon leveled. Ori gasped thanks. They hustled back canyon. Droppa, if you've ever gambled on teamwork with strangers. Returned to mine. Build broadcast plan. Elias revealed repeater cluster, deep in shaft. Old telecom fiber repurposed. Ori's drones held wide-band transceivers powerful enough to piggyback onto weather satellite uplink, albeit for 1 8-minute window. Daily. Riley formulated. Compile Grayson Drive. Directorate contract. Coercion evidence. Hostages photo metadata. Then live stream confession. Need encryption key. Johansson remembered fragments seen while captive. Passphrase long sightsees. Could help. They connected laptop. Passphrase unlocked top-level files, but some redacted. Still damning enough. Memos about talent auction. Directive to neutralize dissent. List of memory patch recipients. Shah's name next threat. Credible. Stream window at 18:05. They hustled assembling trailer video using drone footage of sabotage aftermath. Riley's helmet cam from lab fire. Johansson's testimony. Tension. Before broadcast. Dusk blanketed mine. Outside. Thunderheads built monsoon risk. Could jam signal. Anxiety peaked. Webb posted lookouts. Riley rehearsed summary statement. Battery indicators. Critical. Ori pedaled hand crank generator to top. Up 18:03 drones, lifted from shaft mouth. LED rings dimmed to stealth mode. Ascending cloud cover. Logger ticked. 18:05 love. Ori routed camera to Riley. She inhaled. I'm Specialist Riley Archer. Tonight you witness truth about Project Longsight. She outlined sabotage, consent violations, hostage leverage. Clips cut in. Johansson described memory patch threat. Webb displayed injury from chase. Viewer count spiked to 12,000, then 40K as algorithm sniffed viral data. She urged audience to mirror download encryption files. Cyber activists flooded channel. 3 minutes in, Directorate Cyber Counter-Strike attempted stream crash, but Elias's mesh rerouted traffic. Chat filled with emoji solidarity. Greater than Droppa if you stand against forced erasure. 5 minutes left. On-screen warning. Ground teams inbound. Cameras outside showed headlights crisscross desert. Riley ended broadcast with rally. Truth outruns algorithms. Share it. Feed cut intentionally to preserve last mile. Resolution and new crisis. Mine shook explosives at entrance. Directorate. Opted brute force. Dust clouds billowed in main shaft. Elias guided them to secondary escape via ore chute draining into dried wash. They slid down, emerging behind ridge, just as explosions collapsed mine mouth. But drones overhead still active transmitting. Enemy positions. Riley commandeered controller, guiding drone to scout convoy patrolling wash. Data allowed group to dodge through Slot Canyon labyrinth. Night deepened, storm cracked sky. Lightning silhouetted Black Hawk gunship sweeping searchlight. Team. Found refuge beneath overhang where ancient petroglyphs stared. Safe for minute, Riley exhaled. She logged onto set. Phone messages flooded. Halston praising leak. Journalists requesting interview. Directorate issuing denial. Senatorial committee demanding inquiry. Victory glimmered, but retaliation likely. As they huddled. Webb's radio crackled. Unknown channel. Archer. You disrupted necessary security. Surrender Elias's raw drone telemetry, or we detonate Echo Bluff's ammo depot remotely in 30 minutes. Riley froze. This threat escalated stakes to hundreds of lives. Lightning illuminated her face. Resolve. Carved in stone. She keyed Mike. You won't touch that depot. Voice chuckled. Watch me. Thunder boomed. Cliffhanger clenched. Rain sheeted sideways, hissing as it hit the sandstone ledge that shielded Riley Archer and her ragtag coalition from searchlights combing the desert floor. Asterisk, asterisk. Cold open hook, 39 words. Asterisk, asterisk. Thunder hadn't finished rippling across the sky when Riley jabbed her finger at the satellite phone's blinking cursor. Already drafting the counter move that might save Echo Bluff from turning into a smoking crater, if her exhausted mind could outpace an unseen detonator. Asterisk. Seconds after the ultimatum. Asterisk. The anonymous voice still crackled on Webb's battered radio, each syllable distorted by atmospheric static, but unmistakably smug. 30 minutes. Give us the drone telemetry marvels or watch your precious compound vanish. In the diffuse flare of distant lightning, the LED on the handset glowed a malignant red. Countdown mode engaged. Daring her to stall. Riley slid the push-to-talk switch off, silencing the channel, then turned to the others under the overhang. Johansson leaned against the rock wall, cradling a makeshift splint fashioned from a tripod leg. Webb kept watch down slope, sling wet with rain but sidearm ready. Siblings Elias and Ori sat huddled over the rugged laptop, tiny faces illuminated by code green from the screen, while the drones above relayed real-time drone grid maps. Options? Webb asked, his voice low but urgent. Riley's answer came out clipped. Stall, mislead, and destroy whatever remote link they're piggybacking into the depot. They need line of sight or buried fiber. Grayson designed redundant overrides. We kill the root node. They lose the trigger. Elias lifted his eyes. The broadcast blowback took their comms channels offline for most of the public net, but Longsight maintains a private microwave backbone saw dishes when they nabbed our drones. One of those dishes is probably pointed straight at Echo Bluff. Ori tapped a key, overlaying the topography. Microwave needs clear path, high ridges only. 2 likely sites within range. She circled them on the map. An abandoned water tower. Outside Dry Mesa and a butte called Devil's Table 20 kilometers east. Johansson frowned. We can't hit both. Riley studied the elevation lines. Storm clouds cloaked the butte, but microwave works through rain only up to a point. The water tower sat in rain shadow, a safer bet. We split. I'll assault the butte in case. They used altitude to avoid interference. Webb, you take our fastest drone to Dry Mesa. If either target hosts the trigger hub, we sever it. Webb's brows arched. You alone? My leg's my problem. She rolled shoulders. And I'll have this. She patted the pistol at her thigh, though its magazine held just 5 rounds. Elias stood. Take Harpy 3. He handed her a micro-drone no bigger than her palm. Thermal silent rotor. If signal trace lights up, Harpy auto rams transmitter. With explosive bolt, Riley accepted. Programmable? Voice or tap pattern, he said. Code word Nimbus, she nodded. Mount batteries, set loiter pattern. Drop it if you've ever faced a deadline that could level an entire world. They synchronized watches against the radio's red glow. 29 minutes and 12 seconds and ticking. Asterisk. The ascent toward Devil's Table asterisk. Riley repurposed, discarded climbing webbing from the mine stockpile as a bandolier, tucking the Harpy drone, a lithium battery pack, and Elias's emissions scanner puck inside pockets that slapped against her ribs. As she ran, legs burned. Her calf felt like a barbed wire coil each time toe struck grit, but kinesio tape held muscle fibers in obedient alignment. She forced the breath counts. Inhale 4, hold, exhalate. Shadows of juniper whipped past as she scrambled the switchback. Goat Trail. Lightning split the sky again, straubing sheer cliffs like blown-out photographs. Memory shards intruded, the gauntlet rope climb, the collapsing lab catwalk, the spinning railcar. Each step forward felt like rewriting fate's contract. Again and again. Asterisk, measure wind, led by breath. Let intention be your trigger. Elsewhere Webb's trajectory asterisk. Webb commandeered Elias's largest drone, a carbon fiber hex rotor capable of 15-kilo lift. He duct-taped a shaped charge to its undercarriage, then limped toward the ridge crest where his field of view cleared. Rain soaked the sling until it sagged like dead weight, but he trudged on. Deep inside he felt the truth. Riley had become the variable even his seasoned instincts couldn't predict. He whispered into his throat mic, "Good hunting, Archer," and launched the drone into the gale. Riley 1,500 feet, and climbing sheets of mud cascaded along narrow ledges, but traction improved on petrified wood fragments. Her monocular miraculously intact, now doubled as rangefinder. At a false summit, she paused under a skeletal pine, slipping goggles over eyes. The emissions scanner displayed 2 lines, background static and 1 faint spike at 3.2 gigahertz. Bearing 127 exactly, the azimuth of Devil's Table. Heart hammered. She activated Harpy 3, set it in shadow mode to follow 50 meters behind. 19 minutes left. Switchbacks tightened. Wind lashed harder. Atop final ridge, she belly crawled to edge. There, under a camo tarp lashed between 2 basalt spires, squatted a dish antenna the size of a truck wheel, its feed horn blinking status LEDs. 2 operators in rain ponchos huddled over a rugged case. She zoomed. One typed at keypad. The other stood sentry with SMG. A third shadow leaned near dish, scanning horizon with binoculars, perhaps remote link tech. 3 enemies, maybe more. Harpy. Word inside her jacket, she gripped its body. To close range undetected, she needed noise cover. Thunder obliged, rumbling again. Skirmish under lightning, Riley set Harpy on the rock. Voice programmed. Nimbus target dish. Wait for double click. The drone CHIRPED. She skirted clockwise, using boulders as chess pieces. 30 meters out, the sentry's night vision goggles swept near. She flattened, pressing into damp moss. The tension thrummed like a high A-string about to snap. Flash. Lightning revealed her silhouette, but simultaneously blinded goggles. She exploited afterimage lag, darting forward and tackling the sentry's knees. SMG barked once, round ricocheted. She grappled, twisting muzzle skyward. He swung buttstock. She headbutted his chin, dislocating jaw. He collapsed alarmed. The tech near Dish reached for sidearm. Riley double-clicked pistol safety code. For Harpy, the micro-drone zipped from concealment, beeped once, and slammed into Dish's feed horn. A crack of directed explosive popped like fireworks. Antenna neck split. Electronics sparked. Data link severed at 10:03 on timer. But third operator recovered quick. Drawing the taser, electrodes clipped her thigh before she ducked. 50 volts locked. Muscles, she convulsed, memories of PT failures flashing stupidly across mind. She fought through pain, ripping electrode wire. But muscles MISF IRED. Operator approached to deliver coup de grace. Something inside her, not adrenaline but hard-forged resilience, ignited. She rotated hips, sweeping his legs with her good calf. Stun baton flew. She rolled atop him, slamming elbow into temple until he stilled. Chest heaving, she yanked taser leads free. Leg spasmed but regained function. Timer, 8:47. She snatched rugged case the tech had used as a FA. Hardened radio with still lit screen. Depot override active link lost. Seeking backup path. A progress bar crawled. 60% if link reacquired. Via alternate node, perhaps Dry Mesa. They still risked at detonation. She triggered the radio's self-test. Menu revealed path options. She scrolled, heart plummeting. It already established auxiliary handshake linking to Dry Mesa Dish. Webb, come in, she hissed on their private band. Static crackle rain scatter. Then his voice, Dry Mesa rig compromised. I'm engaging. Destroy it now. They're rerouting. She heard the whine of his drone's motors dive, bombing across storm distance. Then a wet thud, then silence. Timer, 6:15. ***. Middle of part 6 ***. Greater than this story took us a long time. If you like it, subscribe. Now, back to the story. *Riley's. Sprint for final note *. She couldn't help Webb remotely. So she would add redundancy sabotage, fry the CPU controlling the detonation. She rummaged tool pouch, finding a magnesium flare. She cracked striker, wedged flare against radio's ventilation slots, and ran. White fire blossomed, devouring circuits. She vaulted over dish wreckage, beginning descent just as hillside tremors. Shook, she feared an explosion, but it was thunder echo. She pushed, sliding on shale, burning palms and calf. Greater than drop A, if pain has ever been your metronome.radio. In her ear burst a live web. Target down. Dish gone, but men still active. We're in firefight. Transmitter may be battery-backed. Countdown 2:30. Johansson's voice chimed faint behind him. I've located kill code string on their laptop. Need operator fingerprint. Riley's thoughts raced. The operator she incapacitated. They might share biometric group credentials. She darted back, dragging the unconscious sentinel to radio console. Rain-shielded battery heat, but prints. Intact. She snapped photo of thumbprint, transmitted via Elias's secure chat to Johansson. Seconds dragged. She resumed descent, breath rasping. Timer in Webb's feed, 048, 042, Johansson. Match accepted, sending kill command. Silence. Riley slid into ravine, knees buckling. Then Webb exhaled laughter. Depot secure. They're locked out. We did it. Lightning finally gave way to calm drizzle. She allowed herself a single, shaky smile before sirens wailed in valley law enforcement caravans responding to viral broadcast. Choppers with federal markings sliced through clouds, not directorate. Black Ops but National Guard. She keyed comes. Stand down. Friendly units inbound. Resolution and reflection. 12 hours later, a makeshift operations tent sprawled across Crane's Hollow yard, humming with generators and legitimate government laptops. Rayleigh sat atop a supply crate, wrapped in thermal blanket, calf elevated. Shaw airlifted from Echo Bluff after hostages freed, finished suturing Riley's taser wounds. Across compound, Directorate captives sat cuffed awaiting federal transport. Valence wasn't among them escaped. Agents promised pursuit. But Longsight servers seized. Senate hearing scheduled. Memory patch program suspended pending ethics audit. Webb approached, new sling and mischievous grin. Medics cleared me. For sarcasm. He held out a metal case temporary commendation from National Guard liaison. Says gallant integrity. Figured you earned first presentation. Riley opened case. Inside, a bronze phoenix rising from broken chain. She traced its wings. Feels heavy. That's the point, Webb said. Weight reminds you. What not to drop? Lights of press drones glimmered overhead. Reporters clamored for statement. She sighed, remembering Valence's card. Potential is duty. Maybe he was right in a twisted way, but duty belonged to conscience. Not auction, Ori. Sprinted over, tablet high. Your broadcast hit 12 million restreams. Hashtag beat the bass record trending. She flashed trending list. Memes of Riley leaping from the railcar overlaid with slender does not equal soft. Embarrassment warmed Riley's cheeks. Hope it inspires. More than jokes. Drop of if you believe resilience can outshine sabotage. Night settled violet and cool. Campfire smoke drifted. Johansson strummed a cracked guitar she'd scavenged, humming improvised riff titled 12 Seconds. Over Destiny. Laughs rippled. Riley excused herself, hobbling toward canyon edge where the wrecked boxcar still clung twisted against granite far below. Moonlight silvered the river raging around debris, evidence of survival and fragility twined. She pulled. Father's monocular, inspecting Echo Bluff's distant perimeter lights flickering safe. Time 5 minutes 14 seconds and 97 milliseconds engraved there still. But new achievements eclipsed numbers. A twig snapped behind. She turned. Elias held envelope. Courier just dropped. This addressed to you. She opened. Inside a plain card, same embossed phoenix. Handwritten note. Asterisk true mastery isn't speed, it's direction. We'll be watching should you seek the horizon. Unsigned, but she knew Sutton's handwriting. She folded card, lips tight. Direction. She gazed east where dawn teased horizon. Unknowns beckoned task force oversight, potential trial testimony. Maybe forming a new unit that blended public and private, but transparent. She whispered into first light. I choose my own horizon. Wind rustled junipers like approving applause. She pivoted back toward camp, where Webb stirred coffee strong enough to resuscitate mountains, where Johansson tuned guitar, where siblings argued filter curves for next drone shot, a mismatched. Family forged in fire, her calf still ached, scars itched. Eyes burned with exhaustion. But heartbeat remained even and steady, resting 47. Riley smiled, stepping into circle of lamplight. Morning run? Webb teased. She laughed. Only if we redesigned the obstacle course over the river. Too soon, Johansson groaned, but grinned. Riley poured coffee, warmth seeping fingers. Sun-crested, gold floods spilled across the desert, painting wreckage. Redeeming. End reflection/lingering question, she sipped, mind drifting to horizon coordinates unknown. What record waited beyond gauntlet, beyond sabotage? Asterisk, what if purpose isn't to outrun clocks, but to reset them for everyone following? Asterisk, she didn't know, but she would find out, stride by stride. Greater than 2 more great stories are next, don't miss them. Subscribe and turn on notifications.